The Sandbox video podcast is brought to you by smartShift, the global leader in intelligent automation for SAP transformations.
Hello and welcome to the Sandbox video podcast. I am your host, Marina Mühlke, and today I am joined by Jan Beerworth, one of the key IT leaders for Krombacher Brauerei, the largest privately held brewery in Germany. Krombacher's history dates back to 1803, and today it is known as one of Europe's most modern breweries. Our guest, Jan Beerworth, has been with Krombacher for over 20 years. He has served in a variety of different roles, managing functions like logistics, IT, finance, and business systems. Jan holds a master's degree in engineering and business. His career is focused on improving and optimizing business processes. Jan, welcome. Where do we find you today?
Hi Marina, I'm in the beautiful town of Krombach today. I'm sitting in a conference room named Schweppes, as you can tell by the painting of the bottles behind me. It's actually raining outside, and I'm actually also glad that we can talk inside where it is dry.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm sorry to hear that it's raining, but at least you're in a nice conference room inside. So Jan, thank you for joining today, and let's just jump right into this. With 220 years in business, Krombacher is a company with an illustrious past. It's a very well-known brand, but there are likely some people in the audience that are unfamiliar with your company today. So why don't we start by you just sharing the Krombacher story with us?
Sure, I would be happy to do that. The Krombacher Brauerei, as you said, has been in business for over 200 years and actually sits in the heart of Germany, in the Rothaargebirge, where we have a lot of nature around us. Very few cities, and a lot of water. Water is actually the basis for all of our products, so we are quite frankly happy when it is raining. However, lately we had more than our fair share of rain. Actually, originally Krombacher was a brewery, and our most famous product is the so-called Krombacher Pils, which made us the market leader in Germany. We are privately owned and have about 1,000 employees, with more than 800 million in revenue annually. However, we are not only Krombacher Pils, but in the last couple of years, there's a clear trend towards alcohol-free beverages. And we are also market leader in the category alcohol-free beer and have an entire assortment of alcohol-free choices, such as, for example, alcohol-free Pils, alcohol-free Weizen, alcohol-free Radler, and Fassbrausen, which are a type of lemonade based on malt. And also since 2006, we are not only a brewery, but we acquired the trademark rights for Schweppes in Germany and Austria, a premium brand complementary to our brand, growing rapidly in their own sector of the beverage group. And in the last 5 years, we have been focusing also on lifestyle drinks. We have our own company, Drinks and More, with our own sales team and a product line of a variety of modern beverages. So we grew from being something like a mono brewery with one product to a true beverage company and beverage group with a wide geographical reach that has been very successful, with more success coming ahead.
Wow, that is really quite impressive to hear about what the company has grown to, what you've really done with the company. That's so amazing. Jan, so I noticed on your product label, it has what looks like a tower and a river. Could you tell us about the significance of that?
Sure, I would be happy to tell you more about that. The tower is actually the Kindelsbergturm, which is a landmark in our region. You can also climb the tower to have a beautiful view of the nature and forests around us. And as I mentioned earlier today, water is a very important factor for us. It is the essence of our product, the Krombacher Pils. But you can also see the other ingredients of the Krombacher Pils in the label, such as the malts and the hops. We are actually expressing to our customer that we are a product made with premium quality products right in the nature. And so if you ever come to visit us here in the Siegerland region, you will be amazed by all the nature around us.
I love that. I love that your label is not only pulling in the history and how the beer is actually being produced, but that you're also tying to your location, to the tower. I think that's really phenomenal. But why don't we shift gears a little bit? And why don't you share with me, how did you find your way to Krombacher? How did you come to work for them?
Well, that again has to do with our town, Krombach. You could say it was fate. I was actually born in our city, Krombach, and I'm a fourth generation Krombacher Brauerei employee. My great grandmother had worked here, so did my father, and my sister is currently also employed with us. And one thing was always clear to me, is that I will never work for the Krombacher Brauerei in my life. But as you can tell, I ended up here. I happened to finance my college tuition by working in the beverage industry, but actually I'm focusing on material technology, nanotechnologies, and topics like that during my college education. But also studied logistics and production management. And then actually I just wanted to train applying for jobs and went to Krombach. But then Krombacher offered me such a great position with them that I actually said I would just give it a try for a few months. And here we are 20 years later. But within those 20 years, I have held 9 different positions at Krombacher, well, 10 to 12, depending on how one wants to define each position I held. I started in logistics and worked on integration and operations, but also focused on IT projects. I led several teams and then switched to controlling and worked on a variety of projects. Then I worked in IT and now work in system coordinations, a really specialized field. We are the connection point between the business departments and IT. We help the departments communicate with one another, especially then when there is miscommunication or communication is not occurring as expected. We help coordinating how to work better together to achieve better outcomes between both of us.
So if I understand correctly, Jan, you have been on this journey for now about 2 years leading this business system migration, this ERP transformation. Could you just tell us a little bit more about that project in general?
Well, this is exactly one of those projects that lives between the worlds of the aforementioned departments, business and IT. Actually, SAP had challenged us, as they did everyone else, that our beloved ERP system, to be exact, our ECC6 system, wasn't being supported anymore, and that they would instead make us happy with their new S4HANA product. While we weren't really thrilled, we understood that when it comes to IT, changes are necessary and that certain things that were helpful in the past no longer serve you. And for a lot of companies, the system migration is a big challenge. But we understood that this system, S4HANA, would be the future of SAP and the industry. And so in 2019, we started an adoption starter program with SAP with all of our business areas. We worked with a lot of people to understand the new offering. The outcome was that we weren't really thrilled with the new system. We had been rather happy with our current SAP system, and the business areas were happy with the system as well and did not see a reason for change. However, from a technology standpoint, the change was necessary. And so we decided to use a brownfield approach, pretty much turning the old into the new, with as little impact from IT as possible on the business, and actually migrate everyone to the new S4HANA system.
Would you see any other key challenges that you've faced in this project and anything else that you've learned from it at this time?
Well, the basic challenge was the S/4HANA conversion itself. We had a system grown over 15 years, tailored to our needs and with a lot of customizations and C coding. Our partner smartShift did a thorough analysis of all of this for us. We had over 6 million lines of C code. And we actually worked with new partners like smartShift that have offered us a solution for our Z coding, which was one of our major breaking points in the project. While a lot of vendors claim to solve that custom code problem, most of these companies analyze all of the code first and then require many thousands of days to manually fix the code. Not only does that cost a lot of money, it is also very time consuming. So we finally turned to smartShift, who offered us an automated solution with guaranteed outcomes. Instead, that fitted our business and financial expectations and solved a major problem in the project for us to our full satisfaction.
It really sounds like this was a really great accomplishment for the future of Krombacher. What do you think this project now makes possible for Krombacher that may have not been possible before?
We have now the right structures, the right project management, the right system. We are now on a clean, smart, secure, and technology forward-oriented business platform, and our basic IT setup has a solid basis. So that we don't have to focus on these issues for the next few years and instead can focus on growth and the market. We can move forward while a lot of our competitors still have to go through this endeavor and move to S/4HANA. And for me in particular, I'm really interested in data science, as we have seen, and the S/4HANA offers a lot of possibilities to implement faster and simpler processes, to monitor them and to optimize them and to continue growing. That's why it is so important to focus on the basics to be able to grow and move forward successfully in the future.
That certainly makes sense. It really sounds like you've now put a really solid foundation in with the business growing the way it is, from having just been a brewery to now really being a large beverage company of all kinds, as you've shared with us earlier today. So, Jan, just to wrap up our conversation today, would you please just share your vision for the business and just tell us what's next for you and your team?
Am liebsten würden wir uns jetzt erstmal ausruhen, aber dem ist nicht so. Ausruhen und zurücklehnen.
Honestly, we would love to take a rest now, but that is not what we will do, obviously. We are really proud of ourselves and we finished this SAP project 1 month ahead of schedule and below budget. And that for an SAP project. I could not believe it at the cutover weekend. I was really on the edge and could not believe that we were at the finish line. On the other hand, the project was tough and we had to postpone a couple of other initiatives. As I said, we put a lot of time and effort into the project. And now we'll start to work on the backlog, especially some integration projects. And we have now the chance to sort of gifting this new technology to other business areas in order to further optimize the business and to further refine our processes. We are now walking on a solid path to a successful future and are not just looking at the path anymore. And are excited for what the future holds for us.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I completely understand. It sounds like this should be a time of rest now, but you know, there's so many other projects, it sounds like, and so many things that you've learned with your team from all of this that you've undergone. So I can certainly understand that while it would be nice to rest, there's so many other things you want to tackle next. So Jan, thank you so much for your time today. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you, and I so enjoyed enjoyed learning about your work at Krombacher. Thank you again for spending your time with us today, and I hope you have a very lovely day.
Thanks, Marina. Same to you, and have a great weekend.
You too.
The Sandbox video podcast was brought to you by smartShift, the global leader in intelligent automation for SAP transformations.